Significantly, what Falun Gong was changing wasn't limited to physical health, but included moral and spiritual aspects as well. With China's market transition, a corresponding decline in moral values was noticeable, with the pursuit of material gain increasingly coming to trump more traditional values. Falun Gong teaches truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Its aspiration is becoming a better and moral person. Its widespread led to a more stable Chinese society. On March 17, 1997, the Dalian Daily ran an article, entitled An Anonymous Old Man's Silent Contribution. The report told a story of a man in his 70s, named Sheng Li Jian, who voluntarily in 1 year, built 4 roads for villagers, the length of which was totaled 1,100 meters. When people asked him how much he should be paid, the old man replied, "I practice Falun Gong. I'm just trying to do something good for people, and I won't accept payment." The Dalian Evening News on February 21, 1998 reported the story of Yuan Hongtsun, of the Dalian Naval Vessel Institute. On the afternoon of February 14, Yuan dove 3 meters deep into the ice-covered waters to rescue a child, who had fallen into the ice hole on the Zayu River. Yuan was praised as a true hero. His institute awarded him a silver medal for bravery. By that time, he had been practicing Falun Gong for 2 years. On July 10, 1998, the China Economic Times ran a story titled Now I Can Stand. It told the story of an old woman named Xie Shufen, who was diagnosed with paraplegia, stemming from vertebral damage. Though she had been bedridden for 16 years, after taking up Falun Gong she was able to walk again. On the morning of November 8, 1998, leaders of the Martial Arts Association of Guangdong Sports Commission watched a large-scale morning group exercise session of 5,000 Falun Gong students. They asked the students how they felt after doing Falun Gong, and the replies they heard were more than encouraging. There were nearly 250,000 people practice Falun Gong in Guangdong province at the time. China's top officials learned about Falun Gong very early on. The founder of Falun Gong, Mr. Li Hongzhi, started to teach the practice in May of 1992. Soon after, there was a sizable practice site in Beijing's Purple Bamboo Park. Many practitioners, at the time, were retired high-ranking officials. They belonged to the true older generation of proletariat revolutionaries, as the CCP called it. Some had even taken part in the famed Long March of 1934. The head of the 610 office, Li Lanqing, knew Falun Gong from the time when he used to be the Minister of Foreign Trade and Economic Cooperation. One of his subordinate, a Falun Gong adherent, introduced to him how Falun Gong benefits the state and the nation, and gave him a copy of Zhuan Falun. Luo Gan similarly had heard of Falun Gong early on. In 1995, Luo's former supervisor and colleague, at the Academy of Mechanical Sciences, introduced him to Falun Gong. Hu Jintao, China's former leader, learned Falun Gong in 1998. His former classmate at Tsinghua University, Zhang Mengyi, was terminally ill before taking up the practice of Falun Gong, and managed to escape from the jaws of death. At an alumni union in 1998 and 1999, Zhang personally shared with Hu Jintao his experience of recovery. He also mailed a copy of the book Falun Gong to Hu Jintao's wife, in hopes that the couple might in kind come to enjoy better health. Hu's wife sent a postcard to Zhang, wishing to express the couple's gratitude. One retired officer with a surname of Zhou had been Zhu Rongji's superior. He practiced Falun Gong and introduced the practice to Zhu Rongji. Li Peng, meanwhile, was no outsider to Falun Gong either. He had read the book Zhuan Falun himself. He obtained his copy from a vice minister in the Ministry of Electrical Power Industry, which Li used to head. Since Jiang Zemin lived next door to Li Peng at Zhongnanhai, Li Peng personally gave a copy of Zhuan Falun to Jiang. Sometime before 1996, a Falun Gong practitioner in the Purple Bamboo Park area went to Jiang Zemin's home to teach Jiang's wife, Wang Yiping, the exercise. Jiang was emulating the moves too. But when Wang liked to teach him, he felt disgraced, and simply would not allow her to practice anymore. At the time, Jiang loved to emulate Master Li's gestures and movements. The most typical position he used was that hands across in front of the abdomen. Jiang had used to let his hands dangle at the sides when he spoke in public, but later, after finding that Master Li usually keeps his hands folded in front of the abdomen, he followed suit. However, Jiang's belly is so big that he has to put his hands on his belly. Jiang's former supervisor at Wuhan Thermal Power Research Institute practiced Falun Gong as well. At one of the institute's parties, former colleagues of Jiang spoke with him about Falun Gong. In 1996, when Jiang inspected CCTV, he saw that a staff member had a copy of Zhuan Falun on his desk. Jiang said to the person, "Zhuan Falun, this is a good book." When Jiang was inspecting a dike during the 1998 flood, he happened upon a group of citizens, toiling away as part of relief efforts. Jiang felt a sense of pride seeing them, and told his subordinates, "These people must be party members." He greeted the group, and only to learn that they were students of Falun Gong, Jiang burned with jealousy. He turned his back to the group and left. His countenance was solemn. Falun Gong's pronounced effects on health and moral values made it spread at an incredible speed. Among the CCP's high-ranking officials, almost everyone in power had read Zhuan Falun. The wives of all 7 members of the Standing Committee of the Politburo of the Central Committee of CCP had learned the practice of Falun Gong. By 1999, over 100 million people in mainland China had read Zhuan Falun. All of this was subjected to Jiang Zemin's hatred and envy.